Hey, everybody. They're coming for me. Uh, Sometimes things happen in my days that just put a little bit more giddy up in my gallop, let's just say. And something like that happened today. But first, I'm going to tell you about what I did today. I had to go down and get plates for the XJ. Now, so I got finally got the money together. Uh, Drove down there. I still got mask signs up on the door, staying 6 feet apart. Um, I had wait in line to go into a kiosk and sign in. Then they told me just go sit in your car and we'll notify you by your phone. They ask you for your phone number. So I went out and sat in the Jeep. Uh, about 30 minutes or so went by and I went in and I'm sitting down waiting to be called up. And I'm looking around. There's all these signs that say no videotaping, photographing, or camera use in this building. I'm thinking, oh, okay. I thought they call it the BMV here, the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. In Indiana, they call it the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. And depending on where you're at, what three initials they're using. But I thought that was part of public property. It's government, so that means the government owns it. We pay for the government, and that makes, if it's a government office, that makes it public property, according to the Constitution. Uh, well, when I finally get called up to the desk, now I would have done a video on this, and I'd have done it right fucking then if this was over a year ago or more. Uh, those kind of videos are what got me in everybody's eye in this town, because I started doing them on the police officers and government around here. So, I mean, that was my first instinct this morning or this afternoon when I'm sitting in that office and seeing those no camera video recordings or photographs or anything. So when I got up to the counter, I asked the girl that was helping me. I give her my stuff and tell her what I'm getting and get my plates renewed. And I asked her, I said, "Isn't the BMB, isn't that public property?" And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Why would you ask that?" And I said, "Well, I seen it says no video, no pictures, no cameras allowed in here. If this is a public place, I mean, you can't deny that to happen." And she said, "Oh, well, yeah, but we have people's personal information in here." And I said, "Oh, okay." Well, that was the very fight I used to put out when I was doing my videos on my other channel. It's not, if it's a public place, then it's the BMV's job to secure the people's information in their own buildings. If there's a public area where people come in the door and they have to wait and then come up to an counter, well, that area is still public. They cannot control that area and say no cameras allowed. They have to secure the information that they're getting from the people on their own. They can't put that security on the front door when it's public property. Just like at the library. If you walked in the library or the police department or the sheriff's department or a courthouse, you can walk in the courthouse. Now, some judges stop you from recording in the courtroom because they don't want anybody to see the illegal crap they're doing in there. But you can record in a courtroom as well. There's many videos on it. But some judges won't allow it. But uh, that's what I'm saying. And that kind of got my goat because I'm not going to fight that fight no more. That's old me. I've grown, and I'm not that person anymore. Now, let's see. We're already 5 minutes in. When I got home from there and got all that done, and I'm sitting there thinking about the Constitution, and boom, guess what? O'Brien from High Impact Videos had a video he put up that I found that it's talking about the government and them trying to take your Second Amendment and all this, put more regulations on gun ownership and everything. But the main thing I want to talk about doesn't have nothing to do with the government, doesn't have nothing to do with Brian, other than Brian just pushes bullshit. That's all he pushes. And I'm going to prove it right now. If you go over there and watch his channel, you're going to see there's going to be parts of it that are broken up that it's got labeled militia, U.S. militia, or something to do with militia. There's a guy sitting there in looks like a military uniform with insignia and medals and everything on his chest. Looks just like somebody who'd be in the military. But he's not in the military. He is a part of the militia. Now, I couldn't figure out. Brian got this video off of one of the news channels or something. I don't know where he got it. I can't remember everything on the screen. But it did have I think CNN probably, or Fox or somebody big. But this guy was addressing Congress and explaining to them that we the people are the parent and the government is the child, and how it was time for the parent to put a ass whooping and see if they could straighten the child out. Well, you start really looking at the video and you see marked at the bottom, it was July 22nd of 1995 when this damn video that he's playing was recorded. 1995, almost 30 years ago, folks. Almost 30 years ago. Nothing in the last 3 years where the militia would have probably needed to stand up, but this was almost 30 years ago in his video. And this is what Brian does. He takes old videos and put them in with news situations, and he twists it and turns it and tries to make a freaking buck off of it. He's really no better than them because he's stirring the truth up with lies for money. I started laughing because, I mean, this guy's saying, this militia leader that's talking to Congress, oh, he's saying all the right things, all of them. In that same story that I just said about we the people are the parent and the government's the child, and the child's been acting up, so they need a butt whipping to see if we can straighten them up. Well, what most people don't know in this country, and this is what gave me that little bit more giddy up in my gallop today when I'm thinking back about this. And people, I forget about my other two channels that were taken down, that I had all these videos on. And I did so many videos on this very subject that I forget that the people that are on my channel today were not on there back then, or maybe a few, but not many. So I know they don't know what I've went through and what videos I've made involving the militias. So, back when Obama was president, back when I had over $50,000 tied up in getaway machinery and supplies, and had 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different locations to bug out to. Well, I started getting involved with the militias before I even understood what the Constitution says the militia, the militia talks about in the Constitution. I mean, so I just thought the same thing everybody else thought, that anybody with a gun is part of a militia in this country. That's not true. There's a difference. There's militias, there's we the people, there's militias, and there's regulated militias that the Constitution talks about. Now, the Constitution also talks about we the people, and but it does not talk about these militias that are not we the people and that are not regulated militias. So, to get to what a regulated militia is and what one that I can't even call the other one a militia. They call themselves a militia, but they're not even a militia. They're just a boys' gun club. That's all they are. I know this for a fact. Many of them. And a lot of them are loaded with vets and wannabe vets. So they play Army. According to the Constitution, listen up. It says we have the right to a well-regulated militia. And that's true. Every state has them. They're called the Minutemen. But they're controlled, or they can only be called up by your governor. Same as your National Guards. Now, if your National Guards can't handle the situation, and that's the first one the governor's going to go to, if they can't handle it, they'll bring in the militias, the Minutemen, to help them. Now, the Minutemen can fall right dead in line with the military, work side by side, no problems. These militias, and I'm going to give you some names right here, they go by the freedom fighters, the oath takers, the oath keepers, and a really big one, and these guys wear tattoos on themselves like gang members, 3%ers. I know them. I know a lot of them. Matter of fact, I still know him, one of the big dogs of the 3%ers. Mostly damn vets. Mostly. But the thing about these men's gun clubs, they're not regulated, folks. They start these gun clubs, and let's say I start a gun club. Well, my best friend's Jim Bob. Well, Jim Bob and me are generals. We don't have no military background. We don't have no strategic training of any kind. I'm just numero uno, and he's number two. We call ourselves generals. This man over here weighs 650 pounds. He can't run a quarter of a mile. I weigh 160 pounds, 170 pounds, let's say. At 170 pounds, and I can't run a quarter of a mile. We're generals. Now, the next guy we talk into the group, well, we're going to make him lieutenant general, or whatever your next rank can be. And then the next guy, he's going to be the next step down. They ain't none of these motherfuckers, or some of them might have training. Some of them might, like I said, a lot of them are veterans. But it doesn't matter, because it's when you come into the group at the rank you're going to have. And then as time goes on, they give you a little more rank, just like in the regular military. Well, that is a gun club, boys club. That's all it is. It's not a regulated militia. Oh, they wanna be. They're wannabes. And they train, and they wear the same equipment, they do the same things like they are military, but they're not. Your regulated militias, their ranking, everything is laid out in the same manner. Your Minutemen, everything is laid out in the same manner as the military. They're more or less volunteers of that state, and they're not demanded to be in the military, or they didn't sign up. But when they do sign up, it's a voluntary for their area, for that area, that hunk of the state or whatever. Well, these other guys that think they're big time shit and they ain't nothing, they call themselves militias. It's another ballgame. The reason why that is, folks, is the Constitution gave us that backup for our, what they call it, the military of the state. Hell, I can't remember what they call it now. It was a backup for them. The governor could call up his. I just said it a minute ago. That's old man shit right there. Old man shit. But the governor can call that up, and then if they can't handle the situation, then he can also call up the Minutemen to back them up. And they've got to be able to fall in with the regular army, ranking the abilities and everything that they have. They got to be able to fall right in there with them, and be able to work with them. So these boys clubs can't do that shit. My wife keeps calling me right in the middle of this, and texting me, so she's throwing me off. Anyway, that's why the Minutemen are the only and plus the Minutemen are also backed by the Constitution, because it says we have the right to a well-regulated militia, and that's what regulated means. It's regulated by your state, because it is a state militia, not a country militia. It's a state militia, right behind the National Guard. That's it, the damn National Guard. The governor call up the National Guard, and if that ain't enough to do it, then he can call in the Minutemen. Now, I got tied up with these boys, and it was a couple of different groups, Oath Takers and 3 Percenters. 3 Percenters was the last ones I got tied up with. Or the Oath Takers or Oath Keepers. I can't remember the first ones, but they were a bunch of fucking clowns. So I found out about the 3 Percenters, or I heard about them, and I started getting in with some of those and talking to them people. Now, I ain't no members of any group. I'm not a member of anything, folks, other than just my life and my family. Other than that, I don't do memberships, and not even this society today. But I got in with a lot of 3 Percenters because of Obama and the fact that he was open borders and all, but trying to go after the gun, just like the Democrats that are in place today. And they always do this shit. But I had money and jobs and shit that I could, and I had a lot of supplies and everything I needed, folks. But I got in with these guys, and they started talking about, oh, we're going to go down and protect the southern border. And I was telling them, no, you ain't, because you don't even understand who controls that border. Oh, yeah, we're going down. No bombing's letting them in. We're going to keep them out. I said, well, you go down there. And this was the three Percenters, folks. Told them, you go down there. And I was talking to the big dog, one of the big dogs of the whole country, 3 Percenters. And I told him, you go down there, take these guys down there with a bunch of guns and ammo and shit. You got to shoot somebody, you're going to be held for murder because you aren't a regulated militia according to the Constitution. You're a boys' club. And he didn't believe me. And I told him more than once. Well, he took them boys and went out there. And they shot some people. Some of them got out of there. A lot of them got out of there. But a few of them went to prison. Fucking clown I told. Very clown I told not to do that. He was one of them. He may still be in there, as far as I know. I told him, the Americans don't control that border, and the damn Mexicans don't control that border. I know for a fact. And he didn't believe me. Well, the Americans can't shoot and kill Mexicans coming over the border, and Mexicans can't shoot and kill Americans coming over the border. They won't allow it. The drug lords control that border, and they have their own American military weapons that were sold to them by your government. Well, they, like I said, they went down, they played their game, and they ran with their tails between their legs, and some of them went to prison. Anybody want to prove me wrong on that? Because I know the 3%ers ain't going to like that. But let me just ask you folks, the video Brian was playing was from 1995, and that was way before. That's almost 30 years ago, folks. And he's trying to convince you the militias are still out there like that. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. They don't fucking exist other than in theory and in your fucking minds. If they did, why did they allow what has happened in the last 3 years, folks? Where are your veterans? Where are your militias? I always ask that. Where are they? How much more can happen before they think shit's hit the fan? I guess they need an all-out attack from Russia, China, and whoever else wants to get involved. It's funny shit. Don't be counting on it. Superman ain't coming to save you. Neither are the militias. Neither is the military. You better be able to save yourselves by going through God. Save your souls. Your bodies ain't going to make it anyway. You're going to die one day anyway. So you better get your ass hooked up with God. Get the Holy Spirit and Jesus showing you the path. If not, wait for your militias. They're going to save you. Shit. But Brian from High Impact wants you to believe that shit. He wants you to believe they're up there talking shit to Congress right now by showing you a 1995 video. Shit. God loves you and so do I, guys. Until next one.